Berry Hill, beating them 24 points to 3, and then fairly trounced Blackheath at the Recreation Ground Bath, scoring 6 superb tries. Away to Sale, they won there by 10 clear points, and then faced the toughest tie of all against their great West Country rivals, Gloucester, at Kingsholm. Well, it really was an epic of a struggle, but in the end it was the early scores, including a drop goal by John Horton and a vital try by Richard Hill, that were to win the day.
Richard Hill waits, channeled by Simpson. Horton, the drop goal. There's the specialist at it again. Bath with Redmond and Hall at the back. Horton. Oh, that's a teaser. Smith waits. Bath back row there in numbers. Simpson it was first, and through for the try goes Richard Hill.
Yes, 1 point was enough. Gloucester, I'm sure, were kicking themselves at the end of that day, but it was a famous Bath away victory. So to the challengers, London Welsh. Well, for them, a first ever appearance in the cup final, and a pretty hard run of matches they had too. Headingley, first of all, away, they beat 18-10. Then just that single point at Nottingham was sufficient to bring them home. Try again by Mark Douglas was vital. A third try for him in the quarter-final, and Waterloo well beaten at Old Deer Park, 21-0. And then a thrilling semi-final at Coventry. The score there, you'll see 10-all, but it was the away tries rule that counted, with London Welsh scoring 2 tries to 1. Well, the first score was the result of good work around the front of the line-out to score that vital first try, and the second, which was to prove the decisive moment in the end, came from a scrum. Then there was that intricate back play there with the dummy mismove, and Matthew Ebsworth, the fullback, coming through at tremendous pace to score the try then that saw London Welsh through to the final now. Underdogs perhaps, but I'm sure a rousing challenge they'll put up to the reigning champions, Bath. Yes, a thrilling moment, that, the place in the final for Clive Rees, captain of London Welsh. And now let's look at the two sides.
So the London Welsh side, captained by Clive Rees, the evergreen Wales international, also 13 times capped. Alongside him, 2 other full Welsh internationals in that side. Current centre Bob Ackerman, 21 caps to his name, and scrum half Mark Douglas, who's not long arrived from Llanelli. All round a very useful side, with Douglas and Price, who've been the guiding lights at halfback. Price, remarkable kicking record with 37 points in this cup run, and a very useful pack, a pretty tight front row, and a second row with the height of 6'7" of John Collins alongside the experienced Ted Lewis, and a back row spearheaded by Kevin Bowering, with Matthew Watkins and Stuart Russell, just 21 years old, in the back row. So a very useful lineup to pit against the reigning champions. And very much an ardent London Welsh supporter there, the leader for the opposition, Neil Kinnock, who's been very much involved with mini rugby down at Old Deer Park over the years. And this, the Bath club, established, as you can see, back in 1865 and defending the cup today. 13 of the side that won the final here a year ago against Bristol. 9 of them internationals, and in the backs, everyone an England international, barring Simon Halliday and Barry Travaskis. So a lot of top-level experience there to call upon, as well as cup experience too. A workmanlike pack, Chilcott, an international there in the front row. The young second row, Nigel Redmond, capped against Australia, alongside the more experienced Nigel Gaymond at 30 years old. And surely as good a back row as you'll find in any English club, with Roger Spurrell, the captain again. This, in fact, his very last game as captain, his 4th season consecutively in that role. A great predator himself and looking to defend that title today. And alongside him, Paul Simpson, and surely England's outstanding player of the season in the forwards, Jonathan Hall. The big moment for Clive Rees. And for the first time at Twickenham, the red jerseys with the Welsh dragon proudly worn on the left breast. 33 years old, this schoolmaster from Reading. And the big cheer for Roger Spurrell and the Bath side. And you may have noticed there, as always, John Hall runs out second in the line, one of his little superstitions, and a very impressive lineup. Bath then in the white strip, not their normal black, blue and white, And Chris Martin there, as you'll see, wearing number 16 in the tradition of the Bath club. A little superstition about the number 13, so don't be confused. Full-back 16 and right wing number 15. His 5th consecutive final, 6th time altogether in charge of the John Player final. Roger Quinton of the Sussex and London Societies, 44-year-old. Well, he'll certainly be able to keep a tally of the score as head of mathematics at the 6th form college in Worthing. And as you can hear, great atmosphere here, and I would suggest it may well be a record attendance to surpass the 34,000 of 1983. So the 1985 final is John Palmer of Bath to start. And there's the big Stuart Russell in the action, this enormously tall flanker on the far side. And Bill Beaumont alongside me. Well, it could be an epic.
Yes, I think it's really going to be a battle up front to start off with. And London Welsh look very well equipped in this department, that they're exceedingly tall. They've got a big second row in Collins, and I think that if the Bath side will probably have the work cut out to win some worthy first phase ball. But I think if they can do this, they've probably got a slight edge in the backs over London Welsh.
And Chilcott, I think, was the player penalised there for whatever bit of nastiness was occurring at that line-out before the throw-in of the ball. So, a man who certainly sails fairly close to the wind, Gareth Chilcott. And a penalty immediately then to London Welsh, to be taken by Colin Price, the former Lydney and Gloucester player who's done so well with his new club. A 25-year-old who's been instrumental with those 37 points in the cup run to this final. Colin Price, fly half. Line out just inside the Bath half, with the game and the front jumper, Redmond in the middle. At the back there is Matthew Watkins, and immediately possession, Fooey. Clive Rees trying to find Ebsworth. And London Welsh looking keen to run what they get. And here's Douglas. Good on the break he is. Ackerman couldn't quite hold on. Referee looking for advantage. There is none for the knock-on as the ball came out London Welsh side. Well, there's a scrum half I think Bath are going to have to watch out for on the break, Mark Douglas.
Yes, he's very sharp indeed, and it just showed there a glimpse of what he can do if he gets some good loose possession. I think it's interesting that London Welsh are looking to move the ball out wide there, but the pass by Clive Rees wasn't the greatest to Ebsworth, the fullback there. They'll have to just tighten up with a good back row that Bath have against them.
Richard Hill, as London Welsh try to wheel them round. The pick up by Paul Simpson. Hill again, Horton. That's well positioned. It's a long run for Matthew Ebsworth. Back comes Jeremy Hughes. Puts London Welsh on their heels inside their own 22. There's 22-year-old Jeremy Hughes, England schoolboy international at 16 and 18 group. Just inside the London Welsh half. Redmond again, bit of pat ball, but it's back from Bowring, in fact. But Bath's drive is good. Hill, Horton, challenged by Price, and London Welsh are offside.
It's a good decision by Roger Quinton there. He turned round, and as all good referees are, he was going to play the advantage to start off with. But Price was a good 5 yards offside there, I think. Probably a little bit over-enthusiastic at the start of the game.
So it's John Palmer who's scored 25 points off the boot on the way to this final, as well as a try. Kicked a penalty here a year ago against Bristol. Can he give Bath a lead? It's a fine kick. Well, that's indeed a happy moment for the Bath supporters. The sure foot of John Palmer with 5.5 minutes played. Colin Price with the restart. Good work by Redmond, very athletic catch that was. Hill, Horton, inside his own 22, eludes the challenge of Matthew Watkins. Bath call the two-man line. Redman at the front, Hall at the back. Down for Hill. Takes on the London Welsh pack. Simpson stands in the scrum half. But Hill is back there. They come right to Palmer. Halliday trying to create the overlap for Trick. Trick versus Ebsworth. And that's no contest. Well, I must say Bath worked that very sweetly indeed with the extra man created there by almost a little falter in their play that on second bite, so to speak, gave Trick the chance and only Ebsworth to cover, and Trick left him for dead. And now John Palmer attempting to convert the try. Halliday holds it. That's well struck. Will it creep in? It has. And Bath riding high. 9 points to 0 they lead. And 17 minutes played. Special cheer for Chilcott's kick down the line on the restart. Halliday.
The Australians used this a lot with Roger Gould when he came into the line. It was really Halliday committing both defenders that gave Trick that half yard, and if you give him half a yard, he's absolutely devastating, and Ebsworth had no chance at all to cut him off.
So 7-0 the score to Bath after 16 minutes. Well, certainly a fair old battle going in the middle of that line-out, but it's Douglas on the break through to Russell. Taken on by Watkins. Douglas again. No deliberate interference offside. And a knock-on. Well, you can see at times the tension of the event, but kept within bounds so far. So Bath's feed to the scrum through Richard Hill on the London Welsh 10-metre line. It's caving in again. Rather off-putting, a few additional shrill blasts of whistles in the crowd, which is always a very stupid thing to do. Most especially for the players if they hear them. This is Hill on the break. Looks for his back row. Simpson upended by Douglas. And Watkins in there too. And the ball was out. And Richard Lee and Douglas. And in fact, it may all come back to the offside decision. So again, the chance to give Bath a clear 12-point lead. 23, almost 24 minutes played of the first half. That'll do very nicely. Well, plenty to delight the massive West Country supporters here in Bath colours. Restart by Price. Again, Redman. And London Welsh trying to tie in Hill on the fringes, but the ball in touch. So London Welsh needing to call on their past experience of encounters in the Cup against Bath. Douglas again. This from Price. Foué's little chip through. Martin saw the open space deep inside the London Welsh 22, but it looks as though it's going to run on fair and safe for Colin Price. Christopher Martin, England B before the full England side, and an accomplished gymnast, swimmer and cricketer too. Down goes Lee. Didn't kill it. And London Welsh win it back. Price again had to hurry off his left foot as Hall came charging through. Good work by the tough New Zealander Dan Fouey. But it's still Bath. Horton hoists it, dropping in the London Welsh 22. Back goes Douglas, in go Bath. Jeremy Hughes cleans up. 3 metres out from London Welsh goal line. Hill probing. Can Chilcott make it? Try is given. Well, they don't come more popular than that. Gareth Chilcott in a cup final. The former Old Redcliffean has scored a vital try for his club after 27 minutes of this first half.
What really came about that it was the pressure that John Hall put on Colin Price there, that he meant that he missed his kick for touch. Bath won the ball, and John Horton, sensibly seeing that the London Welsh fullback Edgeworth, without a possession, pumped up a lovely high ball. Then it was just the pressure there at the Bath back row, getting there so quickly. Richard Hill breaking on the blind side and giving the ball to Gareth Chilcott. And you can't stop a prop from 1 yard out. They're always devastating over yard, and especially when they sniff a bit of whitewash. You know, it's not often that they get their props.
Bath, remember, do have the wind with them in this first half. Palmer has it behind him with his conversion attempt. It's all going right. Well, by popular decree, England's foremost club of recent seasons, Bath, proving to be very much that on cup final day as well. Russell trying to get it away, but just hasn't gone London Welsh's way in this first half. The ball not to hand. So can Douglas snipe from this scrummage? Off goes Bowring. Here's Douglas now, chipping through for Hughes. They just have carried on the full, it did. And that's the final thrust of London Welsh in this half. A half dominated convincingly by Bath. 2 tries, the first superb work by the backs, the second, well, a front row Union's try if ever there were for Gary Chilcott, and an 18-point lead at half-time. But bear in mind, London Welsh, great fighters, and they have the wind in their favour in the second half. And